All right, YouTubers, welcome back to the Evil Bad Book Club. Uh, Today I'm going to break down what I went over earlier this morning. I read some of the first chapter of this book here. Wanted to go over it with you, break it down, and see what we can pull out of it, see what kind of information we can gather or glean from it. So the book originally was wrote in like 1978, or at least that's when it was published. If you see me looking down, it's because I got some notes. My brain don't work so great. So it takes place, the book itself takes place in the 90s. So in 78, that would have been in the future. Um, so, so basically, as the book starts, we find out that there's been an act passed by Congress and the Senate, and it's outlawed all private ownership of firearms and ammunition. And after a cooling down period, or after they give everybody a chance to turn in their guns, they go out neighborhood by neighborhood. In this book, they go to predominantly white neighborhoods and they look for guns. And they've already went to all the firearm dealers and they've got all the 4477s. Anytime you buy a new gun, you've got to, when you're at a dealership, you got to fill out a form, and that dealer is supposed to keep that. And basically, everybody thinks that our guns aren't registered, but they are. There's just a workaround. So when you go buy a new firearm, you have to fill out this form, and the dealer keeps it until the dealer retires or they cancel their license or whatever, and then they have to ship those to the ATF. Well, because in this book, firearms have been outlawed, well, they've collected all of those, and they go through all of those, and after the weapons turn-ins, after everybody turns in their firearms, they check the list to make sure everybody's turned in their stuff, or at least what they have record of. So they've already got a list of who didn't turn in their guns. So they end up going out to the different neighborhoods, and they go looking for guns. And so the author talks about how people were talking, tough in the beginning. The Patriots, before everything happened, were talking about how they were gonna go down fighting and over my dead body or for my cold dead hands, that kind of stuff. But everybody pretty much knuckled under, and so you had some people that didn't. Apparently, there's this organization that they had gotten together, so they had created an organization. I kind of get the impression that it's a big organization, so I was wondering if maybe it was something similar to like GOA, Gun Owners of America, or the NRA, or something like that, which it could be, because they get a list of all those members too. And, that would put you on another list. So anyway, they go looking for guns, and, they go based on the weapons purchases and people that have been members of this organization. But they already know who's in the organization, so they focus on those people as well. Which, everybody's paranoid right now and thinks that, maybe you might already be on a list. Maybe I'm already on a list. Who knows? So in the book also, they mention that they enlist people to do the dirty work, or to go around. They call them like social service people or whatever, and they hire them throughout different communities. And the standards are pretty low to get involved. From the sounds of it, it's almost like something out of today, like where they hired Antifa or BLM to be the leg men, or the people to go out and do the dirty work. So in this book, he mentions how some people are being robbed and raped because, well, they know people aren't going to be able to defend themselves. And even if they do, or if they do, then hey, they run the risk of a 10-year prison sentence if they have a gun, because they're illegal. So the criminals, or the rapists, or the robbers, the evildoers, they've kind of got a free pass. So it's kind of a scary situation, And then, so the organization, apparently it's never mentioned as far as a name, or if they do, it's later in the book and I don't remember it. But anyway, they've got several different units, small units, maybe MAGs or mutual assistance groups within the organization. So they use, the government uses the media to direct the narrative. Sounds familiar. And to demonize the dissenters and label them racists and fascists. Keep in mind, this came out in 1978. So people are rounded up, when they go neighborhood to neighborhood looking for firearms, and they end up catching so many people with firearms or ammunition that they don't have enough room to jail them. So they end up using things like high schools for holding areas. So they use the schools for holding areas, kind of like in emergencies, where they send you in an emergency. A lot of times you end up at the local school. So after they're rounded up, the police get mugshots, fingerprints, all the personal information they can about the people that had firearms and that. And they end up having to release them, but they let them know that, hey, we've got all your information. You're still considered under arrest, and when we want, we're going to come by and gather you up. But initially you find out that maybe that's not going to happen because of all kinds of stuff that's happened. Like there are a bunch of other people a bunch of politicians got rounded up as well. So so that kind of that muddied the waters for them, so they got to let up or ease up on that. And then so the public's being manipulated by the media, but they've got a short attention span like now, and as long as they're happy, as long as they're fed or distracted, things just blow over. So then the media convinces everybody, after getting them hyped up, that they need to, try to jail everybody that's got firearms, that they're evil and racist, that, everything's cool now. So they calm the citizenry down, and then it goes into how the organization has its own issues, where they're trying to recruit, and at the same time as recruit, they're trying to infiltrate law enforcement and different public entities, small positions here and there, so they can gather intel. So it's kind of an interesting, thought-provoking piece. What would you do, or what could you do in these situations? The book also goes over caching items, for later, when the firearms get, outlawed. Then they decide to, the groups cache a bunch of weapons and stuff as well, rather than turn them in. And obviously later in the story, those are going to come into play. So it makes you wonder, so this was going on in 78. This was in somebody's mind in 78. William Pierce, the author, apparently he's a racist or something. I don't know. He passed away back in the early 2000s. Don't know. Never knew the guy. Don't know that much about the guy. Really don't care. I'm reading the book. The book's kind of interesting. It's thought-provoking. So if you can, check out this book. I'll try to post a chapter as often as I can. I want to do it every day. I got a life. So we'll see if that works out. And each chapter I'll go over, the chapter, just a minor breakdown. But I'd like your comments and your thoughts and what you think about it. And if you got any other ideas for books that are out there that are kind of risque as far as the government's concerned, let me know. I'd like to check them out. They're thought-provoking, especially the older ones. The new books, most of the stuff's been done. I like reading the originals like this one, just because it's almost like William Pierce had an idea of what was going to happen. I guess he was, let's see here, he was a pretty smart guy. Let me read you about the author real quick. Dr. William Luther Pierce, 1933 to 2002, a former aerospace researcher and university physics professor, was the author of numerous books and articles, including the highly controversial novels, The Turner Diaries and Hunter. Ooh, there's another book. Anyway, he wrote his novels under the pen name Andrew MacDonald. The Turner Diaries was originally written in 1975 as a serial for the tabloid newspaper Attack, then published in book form by the National Alliance in 1978. Hunter, an even more powerful novel of race and revolution, was published in 1990. Dr. Pierce wrote and published hundreds of articles originally seen in Attack and its successor, National Vanguard magazine, and now online at nationalvanguard.org, the American Dissent, Voices radio broadcasts. He also founded a new science-based religious philosophy, Cosmotheism. He was founder and first chairman of the National Alliance, the leading organization in the United States devoted to exclusively to the interests of white people worldwide. Its National Alliance, BUL, or Bulletin, is the nation's longest running continuously published racial nationalist periodical. Further information about the National Alliance is available at natall.com. So there's some information for you. I don't know if I'd go to any of those websites. That's on you. So if you get a chance, check out the book or pay attention. Hit the bell notification so you get notified when I read another chapter. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll check you YouTubers out later.